Hello everyone, Nismo D21 and a nice cup of coffee. Anyways, alright, I have no idea what I'm doing these days. I can tell you that I have a lot of thoughts in my head and all of them are completely off the wall and are going to cost money, and I'm trying to do this without spending a lot of money. So let me give you guys the scoop. All right, so the 300ZX block that I have is different than the 3.0 block that came out of the Pathfinder. The motor mounts are different. So anyone that's out there saying that all VG blocks are the same from beginning to end, nope. There's an early VG block, it seems, and then there's a later VG block. I think the Z31 300ZX kept the same block from the beginning until it switched over to the Z32, and then we all know that it went twin cam and all that other stuff that we're not dealing with on this project. So the block that I have is from 1986, and I will post some pictures probably on infamousnissan.com. I gotta snap some pictures here where I ran into a problem where I was test fitting the motor mounts last time I was out at my buddy's shop, and found that the bolt configuration on the side of the block is different, and really it's missing holes, it's missing bungs and whatnot, which puts me kind of in a bind a little bit. I mean, I'm not really much of a fabricator, but we may end up having to make motor mounts. Now, since the cab is off of this truck, I can give you a really good tour of this thing. Before I do that, let me grab these mounts and show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so this is a left side engine mount off of a Pathfinder, and you'll see it says LH right on it, left hand, driver's side, and it sits like this on the motor mount. So the engine sits right here, and obviously there's a rubber mount, and then there's a plate that bolts to the frame. What the problem with the Z motor is that there's no provisions for these 4 bolt holes. I'm going over there today. I'm going to take a little further investigation and take some measurements, but it does not look like there's 4 bolt holes here for me to be able to mount this solidly to the engine and just drop it in. It doesn't look like it's one of them plug and play jobs, and it doesn't look like it's going to be plug and play on the passenger side of the vehicle either. Now, I've bought a lot of parts for that motor, and I've salvaged a lot of parts for that motor, so I'm kind of thinking I might want to just continue on with that motor. My problem is that if I go ahead and I use the existing 300ZX brackets that are on the motor right now, it might push the engine back further than where it would be on the Pathfinder. That's not a problem, because let me shed a little bit more thought on where my craziness goes, and I want to hear everybody's opinion in the comments here. I have a golden opportunity right now to go either 4-wheel drive or 2-wheel drive on this project. The advantages of 4-wheel drive is that I don't own a 4-wheel drive, so it's nice to have one in the fleet. Well, I have that turd over there, but that doesn't run. Anyways, and that's not street legal. This would be street legal, and it would allow me to be able to pretty much go anywhere within reason. I mean, I'm not rock crawling, so this thing's not going to be geared for that. But I mean, if I want to go and do a mud pit, I might be able to do some light mud pit stuff, and definitely be able to get in and out of my driveway in the winter. So, and it's already set up for that. We got a front pumpkin, we've got CV shafts, we've got a 4-wheel drive transmission, everything's set up. We got the 4-wheel drive ride height, everything's, you know, the way it was when it was a Pathfinder. All I did was just pop the body off. But I keep having a voice in my head call to me and say, make me a street truck, because I've got a 4-link rear suspension and all that happy stuff that I showed you guys in a previous video. It's like I feel kind of in the back of my head that I'd be missing a golden opportunity to build a really cool V6 street truck. And at the same time, I mean, obviously if I did this as a street truck, I would pull the 4-wheel drive guts out of it and it would just be 2-wheel drive. This allows me to be able to kind of focus on that 3.3 build I was talking about before, where I want to build a punched 3.3 liter with some nice little fancy stuff here and there on it, and then do a 5-speed. Now I have a 2-wheel drive 5-speed transmission. I already have the 3.3 liter block, which I could send out to the machine shop, have it punched out, put heads and, you know, do the cams from the 300ZX motor on it, or do the Schneider cam swap on it, and have myself a cool single cab truck that's already got a H233B in the rear with 4.37 gears. You know, I've got the cab, I've got everything to put this back together. But that's the dilemma I'm having. Do I go with this as a 4-wheel drive and just find a way to make the Z-Car engine work, build mounts for it, or what have you, whatever needs to happen? Do I do a 2-wheel drive street truck and go absolutely hog wild on my 3.3 and just have a 4-wheel drive Pathfinder converted into 2-wheel drive? Yeah, see? And I sat down with a notebook today at work for a little bit because we, you know, it was dead Saturday, not many customers. And I sat there and I started just trying to flesh this thing out. And the more I thought about it, the more confused I got. I'm like, if I go one way, I'm committed. I'm now 4-wheel drive. You know, I'm going to do the lifted 4-wheel drive. I've got the lift blocks for the body, the whole 9 there. I've got the tires, the wheels. You know, just slam the engine in it, slam the tranny in it, get the drive shaft back in, and, you know, build it around that that premise. Or just take the opportunity to put some smaller tires on it, which would, you know, obviously raise the RPMs up. Might even put something like this on it, because these trucks, this truck and this truck, have the same gear ratio, 4.37, 4.37. And then just figure out a lowering spring, turn the torsion bars down, flip the control arms over, and have myself a lowered, what used to be 4-wheel drive truck with a crazy, well, I wouldn't go crazy. I mean, I'm not going to spend $100,000 on an engine here, but, you know, a punched out VG33 with a few fancy little doodads here and there, and build it around that. So here I am hitting the airwaves. Both sound cool. Both I could live with. Both I would be happy with. I like 4-wheel drive. I'd like to be able to go places. But I also like the idea of being able to drive something that could possibly handle better than, you know, what I've currently got. Plus, the bad news is the rear end on this truck, I think, is starting to go bad. I got a whole bunch of vibration and garbage back here, and I lifted it up today, put it in gear, drove it up to speed. You can hear some bearing noise back there, and I think the limited slip is absolutely smoked because it doesn't want to spin at all. You know, both tires will spin in the same direction, but it's really reluctant to do so. So I'm kind of thinking ahead in the future that, you know, this would be a future replacement for a fun, you know, fun street truck using junkyard parts, I guess. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comments. 2-wheel drive street truck with a punched out VG33, taking advantage of the fact that I have the 3.3, I have the mounts, I have all the toys for that. I would just have to take it out to the machine shop and have them do it over, get some pistons, build the block, which would turn this project into a little bit longer than I would hope. Or do I carry on with 4-wheel drive, go lifted, keep this look, and build a flatbed and have a four-wheel drive Pathfinder pickup. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, and as always, I really want to thank everybody for tuning in, subscribing, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and all that. And on a final note, completely unrelated, I never really gave my final thoughts on those LED lights that I installed on the last video. So real quick, I like them. I'm testing them for longevity right now to see if they last. I mean, it's been, you know, about a week now, so I would hope that I'd get more than a week out of them. We'll see. As for lighting, they're very, very bright. As for construction, I think that the all-metal housing really makes the sale on it, because I mean, when was the last time you bought something inexpensive that was made out of metal? Everything's made out of pot metal and garbage these days. So to see that in a inexpensive LED pleases me, so I'm happy there. Brightness is great. Quickness and ease of installation was there. Dealing with the company directly was easy enough. So I mean, I'd do it out of a scale of like 1 to 10. I'd give that light probably about a 7.5, just because, you know, I don't want to give anything a 10. I think that, you know, without knowing how long the product lasts, I really can't give it a 10 or any higher than that. Because if I give it a, like, say I gave it a 9 and then next week it blows out, well, then I'm just, you know, I'm eating my own words. So 7.5 out of 10, I think that's pretty good for something that's cheap and out of China. I'm impressed. So, and not only that, but Alabama lowlife out of infamous Nissan says that his son purchased a set after seeing my video and was more than pleased. So that's a cool recommendation. So you got a couple testimonies here as to those particular lights. If I have any problems with them, obviously I'll take to the airwaves and let you guys know whether, you know, they're a good investment or not. But yeah, I forgot to do final thoughts on that, so there's that. And this is the next thing here. So I'm so excited, but at the same time that I'm trying to flesh this all out in my head, I'm frying myself out at the same time, because I'm like, you know, there's no motor mounts that you can use, at least that I haven't found, that will bolt to the 300ZX block and then also bolt to the Pathfinder mounts. There's a short time period, real short, like maybe a month or two, right at the beginning of production of the hard body, where they shared the exact same engine block. So if I found one that was early enough, those mounts might work. But how many of those are left? What are the chances of me finding them here? And what are the chances of somebody going through the yard, finding one, and then being willing to pull engine mounts for me? If somebody wants to, if somebody knows about it, knows about one, is willing to pull some mounts for me, hey, I'll pay you for your time. I'll pay you for the hassle, obviously shipping. But you'll have to get together with me so I can go over the specifics of what model chassis breaks there were where this occurred, because it was really, really, really early on. I mean, I looked at one at the junkyard that was built in 6 of 86, and they had already changed the block on the truck by that time. So it's much earlier than even 686, and it has to be a V6, and it has to be a well, I don't know if it has to be a four-wheel drive. I think it might be able to be done on a two-wheel drive, but how many of those are you gonna find? So anyways, leave a comment in the comment box below. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'll bring you some more content soon. Tonight I'm going to the shop, so you never know what kind of stuff is going to happen there. I have a pile of stuff I want to get done, but how much of that I actually get done, I have no idea. Anyways, take care, folks, and you know, stay loose. Bye now.